It's finally time. I've been holding this off for quite some time now, but it's finally time to give my opinion on the Paldean Pokemon. We have a lot of Pokemon to go through, so basically my opinions are going to be somewhat short, but yeah, we'll get into them. So let's go all the way at the start with Sprigatito. Sprigatito is cute. Okay, I'll say I do kind of like Sprigatito. It would probably be my second favorite starter of the region. I have enjoyed Pokemon Horizons. I think it's a good series of the Pokemon anime, and Liko for the longest time had a Sprigatito, and Sprigatito was cute in that series, so gotta say, it's cute Pokemon. Look at that dopey little stare. It's adorable. Florgato is definitely a different one. I don't know what to say about this one. It's just one of the awkward middle stage starter Pokemon. None of the Gen 9 starter Pokemon had good or extremely good middle stages. And Florgato is just one of those. It's probably the best of the three, but it's just kind of mid in my opinion. And then Meowscarada, I also don't really care about. Yeah, half of these are not gonna have like my original trainer name, because I just collected a whole bunch of these Pokemon. But yeah, Meowscarada, I just don't really care about. It's not a Pokemon that I enjoy, but I would use it. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of a boring Pokemon. I do like the typing of Grassark, though. It's a good typing. What is there to say about Fuecoco that anyone else could say? It is the cutest of the starters. It's my favorite starter Pokemon of all time. My go-to starter for this region. Look at that dopey stare and that smile. There's no brain behind those eyes. But he's so cute and adorable. And then Roy in the Horizons anime has a Fuecoco, and that Fuecoco is so cute in the Horizons anime, which just makes Fuecoco even more adorable. It's got an adorable voice. I love Fuecoco so much. They did really good with this starter. Crocolore! I don't like that mouth bit that makes it look like it has a giant tooth. I don't think it's supposed to be a giant tooth, but it looks like it. And I don't like that. Now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of ugly. It's not as ugly as the other middle stage starter. We'll get to that one in a second, but yeah. Crocolore's fine. It's probably right in the middle. But Skeledirge is awesome. I love Skeledirge a lot. It's amazing as Pokemon, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit. But I need to show off its special move, which I hope this one has it. Hold on. So yeah, the way that it stands up with the whole mic thing, I'll show you here. The way that it stands up like that when it does Torch Song is adorable, and I really like it. It's an awesome starter Pokemon. Oh, I don't want to save the game. It's probably my favorite of the fully evolved starters. It's got a good typing. When the game was leaking, I thought I heard it was going to be a fairy fire typing. I wish it kind of was a fairy fire typing, but fire and ghost is not bad. Even though it does kind of repeat with another Pokemon that we'll get to later. But yeah, Quaxley, I still can't really appreciate it that well. I mean, Dot in the Pokemon anime has a Quaxly, and I think the Quaxly is adorable. It's just, I don't know, I don't really care about Quaxly. It's my least favorite starter from this region. Water types are usually like in the middle or least favorite for me, except for like two regions, which is Johto and Alola. Like every other region, it's kind of just eh for me, or bad. And this is no exception. I just don't really care about this starter Pokemon. It's my least favorite. It's not bad, I just don't care about it. Quaxwell, on the other opinion, is ugly, and I have personal beef with this Pokemon because its Pokedex number is my birthday, 913. And the fact that its Pokedex number shares my birthday gives me even more personal beef towards this Pokemon, and it's just ugly. What are those flippers? Why does it look like its feet are clipping out of its flippers? Like, what the heck? That looks ugly. It's ugly. I don't like it. A Quaquaval, on the other hand, is a pretty okay Pokemon. I think it's cool. I like its little dancing. It's a decent typing. Water and fighting is an okay typing. I'm trying to think of another water fighting typing, because I know there is. Shoot, what is another? Poliwrath, which I love Poliwrath too, but this is a okay Pokemon. I think this is actually the one that was my starter in my playthrough of this game. But yeah, Quaquaval's pretty neat. I like him. Probably second place in the fully evolved starters. I do quite like him a lot compared to Meowscarada. But nothing will ever beat Skeledirge. Lechonk. Originally a Pokemon that I adored, I think is just kind of okay now. My love for the Pokemon is kind of weighing down. It's a pig. It's adorable. I like him, but he's not like one of my favorites of the region anymore. But I still would hold him and hug him. Oinkologne, on the other hand, I don't like either of the two looks this thing has. And I regret using this thing for my main playthrough of the team, because it kinda sucked. A lot. Not just kind of. It really sucked. I did not like using this Pokemon. I should have known that it wasn't gonna be the best, but yeah, I overjudged it. It's bad. I don't care about it. Tarantula is just strange. It's just a strange little Pokemon. I do love it shiny. I adore this Pokemon shiny. The red ball, like the blood red ball and like the purple body, it's so cool. It's one of the cooler shinies. I remember finding that, and it's an amazing shiny. The Pokemon itself, though, is just kind of there. It exists, and it's a Route 1 Pokemon. I do like, though, how you can find it hanging in trees. I like that aspect of this Pokemon, but that's really all I have to say about it. Spidops is also weird. That's just it. It's also weird. Its shiny is worse, which sucks. Its shiny is just a worse shiny compared to Tarantula. But the Pokemon, I just don't really care for it that much. If it's a Pokemon I really like, I'm going to say a lot about it. If it's a Pokemon I don't really care about, it's just... I'm not going to say too much about it. Nimble! This thing is so tiny in the overworld, you can, like, hardly see it. It's okay. I remember this was, like, the first shiny I ever saw in the game. And it's kind of an ugly color. I don't like yellow, but yeah. This thing's so tiny, and it's just okay. It's just another solid bug type that we got. It evolves into low kicks, which honestly, is a really neat looking Pokemon. I think it's kind of really neat. I know it's not like a really good competitive Pokemon, but Bug and Dark is a really good typing combination. Dark is a good typing just to have it in general, so anything to help the Bug typing is really good because Bug typing is a really weak typing, but yeah. This Pokemon's pretty neat looking. I like I like its color scheme. It's shiny though, is utter trash. Pommy! I have personal beef with this Pokemon because this Pokemon sucks to evolve. So Pommy is basically just Pommo, which is basically just Pawmot. But I do like Pawmot. Really, I like Pawmot. It's a good Pokemon. Look at that. Look at that adorable Pokemon. Pommy is decent. It's cute. I like it as a Pikachu clone. Pommo kind of just feels there. And then Pawmot is awesome. It's the first ever electric fighting typing, if I remember, which there's 3 electric fighting typing Pokemon in this game. Pommo, Pawmot, and then a later Pokemon we'll talk about, but yeah. Should have been Zeraora as the first electric fighting typing, but we'll look past that. Look at that smile, though. There's nothing going on behind those eyes. And now we get to my least favorite Pokemon of the region. Tandemaus and Maushold. By the way, I took the time to find 2 different Mausholds for this. I regret my decision, but yeah, Tandemaus is just 2 mice that are wearing pants and a shirt, and it sucks. And then it evolves into Maushold, which is 2 mice and a child. Or 2 children. Yeah, it's kind of weird. This generation had a lot of Pokemon that have different forms, and the rare form is just like adding or removing a part of it, giving an extra part to it. It's kind of weird. I don't like these Pokemon. They're quite possibly... They're the worst Pokemon in this region, in my opinion. I hate these Pokemon so much, and they're quite possibly in my like top 5 least favorite Pokemon, maybe even top 3. I don't know, there's a lot of Pokemon there. Overquill, for example. Bad Pokemon. Bad Pokemon. But Maushold is pretty close. Pretty close second. Pretty close, maybe actually like second would be Maushold / Tandemaus, but yeah, I don't like him. Fido. Oh, he's so adorable. I remember when this thing got revealed through trailers, and he was so adorable, and I love his name, Fido. A like combination of Fido, which is the name, which is like a dog name, and then Doe. And it's like a bred dog. It's so cute. And then it evolves into Darkspin. And Darkspin is just so cute too. Look at him. I guess her. This one's a her. So adorable. And of course it gets the fairy typing. It's so adorable. It deserves the fairy typing. Oh, these 2 are amazing Pokemon. I love them. They're so cute. Smoliv. I don't like. I just don't like these Pokemon. Dolliv. Kind of worse. Honestly, I just... Smoliv and Dolliv are kind of just lame Pokemon. Grass and Normal is a weird and lame typing. I just don't like these Pokemon. Arboliva, on the other hand, is okay. I remember this is one of the 6 big Pokemon in Pokemon Horizons, the anime. And it's fine. It's a tree. It's a cool tree. But I mean, we already have a tree Pokemon. It's not as bad as Dolib and Smoliv, but it's not like anything to write home about. These Pokemon are very underrated in my opinion. Squawkabilly. And I only have... Okay, I have more of its forms. This is just the end of the box. I love Squawkabilly. They're very underrated Pokemon in my opinion. I think people don't give this Pokemon enough credit. It's a rockabilly bird, and it's got a pompadour, and I remember using one for my playthrough of the game, and he was like one of the only 2 Pokemon that survived in the end. And I love him. Very underrated Pokemon. People give this Pokemon a little bit of hate, but I think it's kind of neat. I like him. Definitely maybe like a top 20 out of the region. Possibly reaching into top 10. Maybe actually top 15. I don't know. Knackley, it's the Minecraft Pokemon. It's a rock salt. I remember whenever this thing got leaked and I was like, oh, that's just Minecraft. And then Knacklestack came in and it's just like, oh, that's just a Minecraft mob. Except Minecraft mobs aren't really rounded like that. But then, Garganical is a Minecraft pyramid. I don't even know what to really think about these Pokemon. They're just rock salt, and it's fine. It's nothing to write home about. It's just like, this is just Minecraft. Like, it has the pixel eyes. Like Minecraft mobs do, like the pixels for the eyes and stuff, and like the square shapeness. So it's easy to see why people compare this to Minecraft. Organical, though, looks a little bit strange, I will say. It's definitely a weird one. Knacklestack is just like I've said multiple times with these middle stage Pokemon, Knacklestack is just weird. And then Knackley. This kind of reminds me of Roly-Poly. And that line, how it evolves, which it's basically just Roly-Poly for this region. Charcadet, don't really care. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I don't care about Charcadet's line. It's not bad, I just don't care about it as much as other people do. Charcadet's okay. I'm now noticing that, like, it has no fingers, except for it has thumbs, and then one giant finger, and that's kind of weird. Then we got Amarouge, which is the worst version. Fire and Psychic's not a bad typing, though. It's the worst version. Cerulege, on the other hand, is a pretty cool-looking Pokemon. I will say this is pretty neat. I know this line of Pokemon has terrible shinies. Unforgivable. But yeah. Fire and Ghost did overlap, though, with Skeledirge, so I never used it in the game. I liked Skeledirge more than this, but this was still... Honestly, I'd say Charcadet's fine. Armourouge is just kind of ugh. And then Cerulege is pretty cool. Probably maybe like top 30 of the Pokemon, maybe. There's like 100 Pokemon in this region. I can't remember how much I counted, but it's maybe top 30, top 40. It's just not like one of my go-to favorites. Tadbulb. That stare is going to be in my nightmares. This thing's so tiny and has a terrible shiny. I just can't really see the appeal of it. Bellybolt, on the other hand, is an adorable little Pokemon. I remember when this thing got first announced with the Iono trailer thing. And then it sucked because it didn't end up being Iono's ace. Because that was Mischievous. With the Terra typing electric, because of course they had to do the Terra typing stuff. The weird Terra typing things, but yeah. It's hard to, like, you can, like, kind of notice, like, the things on its side are not actually its eyes. Its eyes are in the middle, but I still always think of the things on its sides as its actual eyes. And it's not. Now that I'm realizing, now that I'm like looking at it, that smile is going to also haunt my dreams. But yeah, it's an okay Pokemon. Just like it evolves from a weak Pokemon in my opinion. Watch Roll! Aw, he's adorable. Roy also has this Pokemon in the anime, and Watch Roll's adorable. I think it's kind of, at this point, classified as this region's regional bird. This region didn't really have like a traditional regional bird that shows up on Route 1. They just kind of stuck Fletchling in there, and it's just like, okay, that's fine. Kilowattrel's pretty cool too. Electric Flying is always a really good typing. It removes the ground weakness and also removes the electric weakness. And yeah, the only other Pokemon I can think of that's electric flying on the top of my head is Zapdos. I can't think of another one. Tornado? Thunderous, I think, is one, maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Tornadus is flying typing, just in general, just flying typing. But yeah, I like these Pokemon. I like these two. They're really good. They're a good, I'd say, regional birds, but they also don't have 3 evolutions, so don't know what to say about that. I would classify them, though, as the regional bird of this region. But whatever. Mastiff, I like him. He's adorable. All the dogs that they added in this region are so adorable, and they all have different typings. Fido had fairy typing, Mastiff has dark typing, and then later one has ghost typing. This thing's so adorable. Look at that grill. Look at that grin. Look at that anger. That thing is gonna kill you. Mabostiff. His story is so sad in the game. If you haven't played it, like, where the heck have you been? This game's been out for almost 2 years now. His story is so sad in the game. And it makes me want to cry. Mabostiff, though, is pretty cool. Look at him. I didn't even realize he has yellow eyes and a yellow nose. Does Mastiff have a yellow nose? It has an orange nose and has white eyes. I love Mabostiff, though. Also, that bark. Adorable. This Pokemon just screams adorable to me. Adorable. Strudel! No! No. No, I don't like him. It's the first ever poison normal typing alongside Grafaiai, which never cared for either one of these two Pokemon. It's shiny. Grafaiai's shiny is like really vivid. It's just too vivid, I think, in my opinion. These two are kind of just, no. Probably like bottom tier Pokemon in my opinion. If I was like doing a tier list of all these Pokemon, I'd probably put them in like this C or D. They're kind of just weak. I don't really like them that much. I would choose a lot more poison type Pokemon in the entire 1025 Pokemon Pokedex than these two. Bramblin and Bramblegast kinda suck. I don't really care for them that much. They're not really that good at Pokemon. They're just tumbleweeds, and they kinda suck. This Pokemon, and then obviously Pawmot and Rellor, I think, later on this list, have stupid evolution methods of having to walk alongside the Pokemon. And yeah, these Pokemon are just kind of lame, in my opinion. I don't really care for them that much. Tumbleweeds, eh. I mean, I guess it is a unique concept to the Pokemon games, but I don't know. We got a lot of grass. We got a lot of plant Pokemon. So it's not like I was expecting anything big with these Pokemon. Toadskull is just weird. I remember when this thing first got leaked, I was like, oh, it's like Wiglet, but weird. The heck, this thing's holding a miracle seed. It was like Wiglet, but weird. For Tentacool. And then Tentacool wasn't even in the game for the longest time. Tentacool is just weird. The way that it runs creeps me out so much. And then we got its evolution, Toadscruel, which, honestly, I kind of like this Pokemon. Grass and Ground is a pretty neat typing. It's quite weak to Ice, but I don't know. It's fine. Gets rid of really the fire weakness. As a, like, Tentacool and Tentacruel Divergent evolution, I think is what it's called. It's just a weird... It's okay. It's not like the best thing ever, but I really do like Toadscruel. It's a cool one. Cloth. What can I say? I used the shiny one in my main playthrough of the game, not on YouTube. I did grow to appreciate Cloth. I think it's okay, though. It's not really like anything to write home about. I do like it shiny, though. The blue shinies are always really good. And this thing is no exception. It's an okay. It's a good shiny. But, I mean, it's just a crab, I guess. I mean, we got Krabby. That's a crab. And that crab is water typing. This thing's rock typing. Capsicate is ugly. I'm sorry, this thing is ugly. And does it have no arms? It has no arms. Oh, I didn't even realize that. It's ugly. I don't like him, and its shiny is ugly. It's an ugly shiny. On the other hand, Scovillain. Scovillain is our first grass fire typing, which is a typing I've always wanted. I love the typings that very much contradict each other. The water and fire, the grass and water, the ice and fire typings. So it's always great to see a new one of those, and grass and fire is just one of those. Having a pepper Pokemon be a grass and fire typing really works, and it's like a two-headed Pokemon, Scovillain. I like it. It's really neat. I wish its heads would change color whenever it was shiny, though. The heads kind of stay the same color. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But I think it's a pretty neat Pokemon, especially being our only grass and fire typing so far. I guess technically we have a later Pokemon's extra form. But we're not going to get into that. But yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool. Whenever they had the video that was going through the Pokemon, like the 1008 Pokemon encounters, that music video, which is one of my favorite Pokemon videos on YouTube, I saw this thing's face, and it rubbed me the wrong way. So I don't like Rellor, and Rabsca is just not a Pokemon I care about either. The fact that these Pokemon have such hard evolutions just makes me want to knock them down even further. I do like how Rellor is Roller backwards, and then Rabsca is Scarab, but like if you take, like, split the word in half, then switch the halves. But it's just not okay. It's just not a Pokemon I care about. Flittle, I don't like this thing at all. I've always run into this thing when I don't want to, and it pisses me off. I hate it so much. Its shiny is not even that good. Same with Espathra. This thing's just ugly. I'm sorry. If you like this thing, I'm sorry. But it's ugly. There are much better Psychic types. Psychic types that are even in this game than Espathra. Espathra and Flittle both just suck. And then we got Tinkatink Tinkatuff and Tinkaton. I love Tinkaton. Definitely a top 10 Pokemon of the region, Tinkaton. And its middle evolutions are okay. This thing's kind of a little bit weird. I don't like the teeth that it has. And then this thing's just a baby. I remember Dot has a Tinkatink in the Pokemon Horizons anime, although I haven't seen that episode yet because it's not out in English. I just know that she has it because I follow Cerebi and they update with the episodes, and I know that Dot has Tink. So, like, getting to see Tinkaton in the anime will be really cool. But yeah, Tinkaton is awesome. I love this Pokemon. I love its attack, Gigatongue Hammer, where it just smashes the hammer onto the Pokemon. And then its other two evolutions are kind of just okay. Wiglet. What else is there to say about Wiglet? It's adorable. It's adorable. Look at that. Look at that nose. Look at that nose. Look at that vacant stare. Nothing goes on between those eyes. There's no brain there. It's adorable. As a Diglett Convergent evolution, I like it. I remember when I made a bet with my friend that I would use its evolution as my main playthrough team if it evolved into Wugtrio, and it did, which I think that's just the funniest name that they could give this Pokemon. Just like, how do we make it different from Diglett? Oh, let's just remove the D and put a W there. Wiglet and Wugtrio. It's funny. And then, yeah, we have Wugtrio. It's like a W. It's a decent Pokemon, I guess, at least. It's not like anything to write home about, but whatever. It's fine. It's okay. Wiglet's better, though. Gotta say that. Bombardier. I remember this is one of my first shinies that I ever caught in the game, and I do like it. It's a stork. It's a dark type. It's an evil bird, and it's one of the titans, and I like it. It's pretty cool. But it's just one of those, it's not really anything to write home about Pokemon. It's fine. Honestly, it's pretty fine. Next, we have... Why did I name this thing Wonder Woman? Next, we have Finizen. As our first dolphin Pokemon, I think it's pretty cute. And then it evolves into Palafin. The fact that that's base form Palafin kind of sucks, because it literally just adds a heart to its chest. I'm not kidding, but there is something special about Palafin, so we will actually show that off right now. So yeah, Palafin has a special ability. There's my first ever shiny in this game, Sal, the Azumarill. Palafin has a special ability that if you swap it out and then swap it back into battle, it becomes a new form. The Zero to Hero form. And this thing is pretty cool. It's like a superhero dolphin, and I like him. I kind of wish this was the base form, but I do understand the gimmick. Here, it's a Pokemon that is very gimmicky, but I still like it. Look at that. Look at that Pokemon. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool Pokemon. That's pretty cool. It's got a heart in its chest. It's a superhero dolphin. It's pretty cool. Charcadet, you better stay away from me when I get out of this battle so I can put Palafin back in the box. But I like Palafin's hero form. Other than that, they're pretty good as a dolphin Pokemon, as our first and only dolphin Pokemon so far. Varoom! I remember this thing sucks, because you always get run over by it in, like, that one gravelly area. That one area that is near the poison type leader. This thing kind of sucks, but Rev of Room is cool. I remember this thing was like first leaked. I remember this thing was like shown off but never fully revealed in trailers. Like it was the Team Star based Pokemon. I kind of wish we could have the Starmobile form as like an actual Pokemon, but I guess that would be a little bit too broken, maybe. Riverbroom, though, pretty neat. Steel and Poison is a really good typing. I think this is actually the first ever Steel and Poison Pokemon, and it's really good. Steel and Poison's a cool typing, in my opinion. Cyclizar, I love this thing. It's underrated, in my opinion. I like it. Not as much as its past and future Paradox form, which I guess technically is what that is, but I don't like it as much as its past Paradox form, but I do like it better than its future Paradox form. I think it's cool. It's neat. It's the right Pokemon for every other trainer that doesn't get the cool protagonist mark in the game. Cyclizar's are pretty cool, though. I remember using a shiny in my main playthrough team. I had 3 shiny Pokemon in my main playthrough team. This thing, Oinkologne, and Cloth. And its shiny's okay. But I do like Cyclizar. I remember when this thing first got revealed at, like, Worlds a couple of years ago. And I liked it. I knew I wanted it on my team. The Dragon and Normal typing's pretty cool. Dragon typing is always pretty cool, though, too. Orthworm might get a little bit of hate about this, but it's eh. It's just kind of eh. I do like the little blue parts, how arms stick out of it. But other than that, it's just a worm. It's just a worm. That's all I gotta say about it. It's just a worm. Glimmet! I don't like this thing, honestly. I really don't like Glimmet. It's kind of a boring design. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. Same with Glamour. I have no idea what these two Pokemon are supposed to be, and I just don't like them. They're kind of like the Terra Pokemon of sorts. I remember the, like, champion has, like, this Pokemon as the ace. Don't remember what the champion's name is now. La Primera, whatever her freaking name is. She was a terrible battle. Would have been better if we could have fought Nemona as the actual champion battle, but whatever. These Pokemon are kind of trash, honestly. Bottom tier Pokemon, definitely D tier Pokemon if I was doing a tier list. This Pokemon's cry is really weird, though. It's a pretty strange cry. Oh, yes, the final of the trio of dogs to add in this generation. Greavard, which was introduced in a Halloween trailer for the game. I like its little gimmick of, like, being underground and having a little candle pop out of the ground, and then when you get near it, it pops out of the ground. That's adorable. It's a really hard Pokemon to shiny hunt, though, because, like, the candle is the only thing that doesn't change color and it's shiny, so it's really hard to tell. Houndstone, on the other hand, I ended up not using this Pokemon for my main playthrough because I wanted to. But Houndstone was one of the few reasons that drew me away from using it. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this Pokemon that I don't like. But it's kind of ugly. Greavard is so adorable. I remember during the, what was it, Rhymes gym battle? Is it the 6th gym? It's either the 6th or the 7th gym. One of those two. Rhymes gym battle. I remember this thing, like, dances on its hind legs, and that was adorable. But, yeah. Adorable Pokemon, definitely top 20 in my opinion. This thing, though, definitely way down on the list. I don't like it. It's ugly. I'm sorry, May. Sorry, buddy. Flamigo! This is probably one of the most boring Pokemon out of the region. The fact that they are like, oh, let's just take off the N in Flamingo, and that's the name of it. And then it's just a Flamingo. That's just a Flamingo. I don't know what else to say. That's just a Flamingo. It's boring. It's boring. It would definitely be like a middle tier Pokemon in my opinion, just because it's boring. I don't hate it, but it's nothing to write home about. Citadel, I remember seeing this thing in Cititan, kind of just being nonchalant about them. They weren't like Pokemon that I hated, but they weren't like top tier Pokemon. I think Citadel has an amazing shiny. I love the black and orange combination. I don't remember what Cititan's entirely looks like. I think it's kind of got that black and whitish on it. I do like their shinies. It's just the Pokemon itself is just kind of okay. A weaker Pokemon in my opinion, but not the worst thing ever. It's fine. Veluza sucks. I don't like this thing. It has an ugly shiny. It is terrible. I don't like being in the water within 20 feet of this Pokemon, because it will go right after you, and you have no chance of escape. Because that Pokemon wants to kill you. And I want to kill it. I want to kill this thing. Dondozo's kind of weird. It's another catfish. I think Whiscash did the catfish thing better. Dondozo's not bad, though. I mean, compared to what we just had to see. It's pretty neat. It's just I think Whiscash did the whole catfish Pokemon better. Now, Tatsugiri is so adorable. I love the sushi fish. I love the fact that it tries to act like a piece of sushi when it gets scared as like a defense mechanism. I think it's adorable. Dragon and Water. I would have used this Pokemon on my team if I had any placing for it, but I chose Cyclizar over this. But I really like them. I like how they have different forms too, and then like they work well with Dondozo. But yeah, he's adorable. Look at that little cutie. This is my second favorite Pokemon of the region. So, pretty weird story. I really do like Primeape. It's a Pokemon that I never see get love, ever. But it's a Pokemon I love. I love Primeape. It's probably my favorite fighting typing from Generation 1. And I never expected Primeape to get anything more about it. I just remember it has that Pokédex entry where it says that if it gets too angry, it dies. And then we have Annihilate, which is so cool. I love this thing. It looks like it's got like chains, and it's like it like broke out of its chains. Its shiny is very weak for it being an obviously cool Pokemon. It's my second favorite Pokemon of the entire region, and we'll get to my favorite in just a little bit. This thing right here, how it's a reference to that like one Pokédex entry of it getting so angry it dies, that's cool. I give it an A+. I give it an A++ for it being a reference to that. Fighting in Ghost is a pretty cool typing. I think only Marshadow has that typing other than this Pokemon. And I love this thing so much. I don't think I've ever seen any hate for this Pokemon either, so I think they did pretty cool with it. Clodsire is adorable too. Why are you holding a rare candy? I'm gonna take that rare candy back, thank you. Look at that dopey little guy. I remember when Wooper was first introduced, and we're gonna show off Wooper in a second, because I have the Paldean forms as well on this list. They're at the end. I remember when Wooper was first shown off, I was like, I wonder what they're gonna do with it. They're gonna have another Quagsire. And then they didn't. They had Clodsire. And this thing's adorable. I don't know easily how to show it. Hold on one second. So when this Pokemon does, like, attacks, like, little spikes will come out the top of it, if I can get it to show it. Oh no, it's got insomnia. Yeah, look, it, like, jets out little spikes from the top of it. And that's kind of cool. That's a really cool thing that it does. I like it when Pokemon have these cool little battle animations that aren't just like, oh, it's the Pokemon, but it's attacking. It gets like a little bit of an extra thing on top of that to make it stand out. To make battles at least a little bit exciting. And this thing has exactly that, and it's cute. Definitely a top 20. Top 15, maybe, Pokemon of this region. Farigiraf. It's another palindrome. It's like Drafarig, but just like the inverse. Wait, I never realized that. Does it have... Is like the front two, like, little antenna black and the back two brown? I never noticed that. That is kind of bothering me, how they're different colors. That's actually really bothering me. This thing's okay. Drafarig did kind of need an evolution, but I mean, this thing's nothing too insane. It's a psychic giraffe. It's kind of like it got like the Weirdeer treatment. It's like a psychic and normal typing, but Weirdeer did it so much better. I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate on this, but I really do like the Dunsparce as a concept. The fact that this Pokemon is so lazy. The fact that this Pokemon is like such a lazy Pokemon, it's like such a lazy looking Pokemon. And it took 7 generations to finally get an evolution on this thing, and it's the laziest freaking evolution ever. It's just funny to me. And the name itself, the Dunsparce, being such a lazy name too, where they just added another duh to its name. This thing is so lazy of a concept, and yet I like it just because it matches the Pokemon. It's another Pokemon that has a weird secret form with like an added segment. Yes, I ended up finding the 3-segment form for this, and you can hardly see it on the summary screen. What a waste of my fucking time. Sorry, I don't usually curse on this channel, but yeah, I just like it, even though it's so weird of a concept. It's so lazy, and I think it works so well. King Gambit. I never expected Bisharp to get an evolution, but I think this thing's pretty cool looking. Its shiny is amazing. I like how it like sits on its hair. This thing is awesome. It's a pretty amazing Pokemon. A Pokemon I never would have expected going into this generation, but a good Pokemon nonetheless. I like it. I never used it, but I do like it. It's pretty neat. Maybe top 20, top 30, maybe-ish. But I think it's pretty cool. Now we get on to the Paradox Pokemon, and I will say, right here, right now, I don't like their names. The names are very weak. I wish they would have gotten, like, actual names and not just Great Tusk, Screamtail, Brute Bonnet, Fluttermane. I don't like that. But we're going to look past the names and just look at the Pokemon themselves. We're going to go through the the Pokedex goes through the past forms and then the future forms. This thing's awesome. Donphan is a Pokemon that no one really talks about, and it makes sense because the Pokemon's kind of weak, but this thing's cool, and I know it has a cool shiny too. I love this thing. I remember it was first teased in that trailer that had the Ed Sheeran song that was like leading up days before the game's release. It was like teased through Arvin's book, and then like we got to see that in the future form, and I remember seeing that and I was like, whoa, new Pokemon shown off. This thing looks so cool. They revealed Paradox Pokemon exist because that was a thing that was leaked. And this thing's cool. I like him. Screamtail. No, this thing's not working for me. This thing's really not working for me. I don't like you. I don't really like you that much. It's a very bland one for me. The fact that it's based off of Jigglypuff and not Wigglytuff doesn't help it either. But yeah, it's a weak one for me. Brute Bonnet is nothing to write home about either, but I do really like the cool emo look that it has. And then its shiny is really good too. But then it's just like, it's okay. It's kind of like one of those middle tier Pokemon where I don't hate it, but it's not something I would show off as like a favorite Pokemon. It's just kind of round the middle. Fluttermane also doesn't really work for me that well. Oh my gosh, I am realizing that one of its little things is miscolored. Is that like actually how that thing looks? Because that's going to bother me. Why is one of its tassels just a different color? Why would you do that? That bothers me. Ghost and Fairy is a pretty cool typing, though. I remember these Paradox Pokemon have some cool typings. Ground Fighting, I think this is our first Ground Fighting typing. And then Fluttermane, Ghost Fairy is pretty cool. Then we move on to Slitherwing. Being a Paradox Pokemon of the Pokemon that I can't say because it has a disease in its name. I like it. It's one of the two Paradox Pokemon that got one of the three Pokemon that got two versions of Paradox forms. And I must say, Scarlet got the better Paradox Pokemon. Scarlet got everything better, and yet Violet sold more. Don't know why. I think I remember seeing a video where someone mentioned that the reason why Violet sold more is because Scarlet is like red, and that's a Pokemon game that everyone knows, so Violet, being a color we haven't really seen as a Pokemon game, is something different, so people want to buy it. But yeah, Slithering's pretty neat. Bug and Fighting's pretty cool. Sandy Shock's Electric Ground. I like this thing. It's pretty cool. Look at that thing. I like how it's just like a rock. It's a rock magneton. It's just like you could bring this thing to a concert and it would not stand out whatsoever. It fits perfectly at a rock concert. And its shiny's pretty good too. I really do like it. And then we get on to a lot of terrible Pokemon. The past. The future Paradox forms. Iron Treads is weak. I mean, looking at Donphan's other one, Great Tusk, this thing very much sucks. I don't like it. Ground Steel, I don't like you. You can go away. Now this is something that I hardly see anyone talk about, but I love this Pokemon. I love Iron Bundle. It's adorable. I use this thing on my main playthrough team for my YouTube series that I did of this game, and I like him. He's adorable. His shiny's really good. All the Paradox Pokemon just have like these silver shinies, but I really do like Iron Bundles and a later one that we'll talk about later. Like Iron Bundle and a later future Paradox form are like the only two good future ones. If you don't count Miraidon and Koraidon as Paradox Pokemon, which they kind of are, but aren't in the same way. But I like Iron Bundle. He's pretty awesome. Look at that adorable face. Iron Hands. I like this Pokemon specifically because it's good for doing Terra raids in this game. And that's all I care about for this Pokemon. It's good for Terra raids. Everything else, it's just kind of an okay Pokemon. And that's 80% of this video. Iron Jugulus is weird. It's like a really low poly Hydreigon. It's like a PlayStation 1 era Hydreigon was just put into this game. And it just does not work in my opinion. The fact that it's supposed to be future and it looks like a PlayStation 1 look-alike of a Hydreigon is just weird. But I do love the fact that its Pokedex entry is basically just saying that a Hydreigon made love to a robot and it popped out this thing. It's probably one of my favorite Pokedex entries that exists. It's just so weird to just imagine a Hydreigon and a robot making love, and then a baby is born, and it's this ugly thing. Iron Moth's not good. Fire and Poison is a weird typing for it. I feel like it should have been Steel and Fire. It's just not good. I mean, compared to Slitherwing, this thing's trash, and then compared to the rest of the future ones, it's also trash. Definitely a low D tier Pokemon. Iron Thorns, the last one we're going to be talking about the Paradox Pokemon for a bit. It's fine, it's got a good shiny. And it's kind of like a reference to the Mecha Tyranitar from the Black and White 2 games, like from the movie. Little segments that you can do where like you can like create your own movie in there. And like there's a Mecha Tyranitar as one of the opponents in the movies. And this is kind of like a reference to it, so I think that's kind of cool. But it's just like, oh, we're just gonna spray paint a metal look on a Tyranitar, and there you go, I got Iron Thorns. Frigibax, being the pseudo-legendary of this game, Frigibax is weird. Arctibax it's getting there. I think it's one of the better looking middle stage Pokemon. Dragon and Ice is a really good typing too. I think only Kyurem has that typing, so it's cool to have one here too. And then Excalibur is okay. It's like a Godzilla Pokemon. I think it's supposed to be like Godzilla, but it's also like, it's ice. It's got like an axe in its back. I think it's pretty cool. Being the pseudo-legendary of this generation, I don't think it stands up well against a lot of the other pseudo-legendaries. I mean, it's way better than what? Actually, no, this is probably the worst pseudo-legendary in the of all the 9, 10, I think, pseudo-legendaries that exist. Like, this thing's just the worst. I like every of the other pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and then this thing is just the worst on the list. I was, like, thinking back to all the ones that exist, and it's just like, this thing is the worst. I mean, if something has to be the worst, even though it's still cool, I guess it would have to be this thing. Gimme Ghoul! Gimme Ghoul! I remember this thing was like shown off in trailers, I think. And yeah, this is the form that you can actually get inside the game, like just playing the game normally. You can't get the roaming form outside. You can't get the roaming form in this game. That one always disappears. You have to transfer it in from Pokemon Go. So I do have both versions, the chest form, which I do like how it's a little gremlin hiding in a chest full of coins, and it's like another mimic Pokemon. I think this works so well. The roaming form is kind of okay, holding a coin on its back. But then we have Pokemon 1000. And I have to show this off here. This Pokemon just screams a cash grab. So, like, first off, it rides a surfboard of its own coins. And it's made of 1,000 coins. Look at that. It just screams, oh, this game makes money. And we've been doing this for almost 30 years now, and this is our 1,000th Pokemon. It just screams money. Oh, I never even realized it has its chest on its back. It's one of the harder evolutions to get in this game, but it's worth it. Ghost and Steel, I think, is its typing. It's a cool Pokemon. I love it being the 1,000th Pokemon. It's good. It's a good one to have as the 1,000th Pokemon. Wo-Chien! We're getting into the weird legendaries of this game. Wo-Chien! No, I don't really like it that much. I like 2 of these, and then the other 2 I kind of just don't care about. This is one of them I don't care about. Dark and Grass. I mean, there's a lot better Dark and Grass typings. This thing is just kind of lame. Don't care about it. We got my favorite of the 4, Chin Pao. This thing is cool. I like how it's like got saber teeth that are like swords. That's pretty awesome. And it's like a little ice saber-toothed tiger thing, and it's like really fast, and it's cool, and the names are a little bit weird on these Pokemon, but I still like this thing. Definitely like a top 15 Pokemon from this region. I just wish it was easier to get. Ting-Lu does not work for me. It's probably the worst of the 4. I don't like the big bowl that it has on its head. Just doesn't work. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. It's a dark ground typing. I don't even know what the heck it's supposed to be. But this thing doesn't work for me. And then obviously Chi-Yu is adorable. The little fiery fish thing is adorable. Look at that adorable little fishy. You just want to hug it. Roaring Moon, a reference to Mega Salamence as its Paradox past form. This thing's awesome. Seeing it in the game is awesome. Seeing it in the wild. This thing's really cool. I like it. It is a reference to its Mega form, if I remember correctly, and that's cool. Megas are technically in this game. Yeah! And then Iron Valiant. The special ones that they save for later in the Pokedex are the best, or kind of really cool ones. They did really good with saving these. Fairy and Fighting typing, I think that's a new typing too. I think that's one of the few new typing combinations that they added for this generation, which is really cool. This thing's awesome. Being like a Gallade slash Gardevoir kind of like mixture, that's really cool. And then its shiny is pretty good too. And then we have my favorite legendary Pokemon of all time, Koraidon. Look at him. He is cool. His shiny is one of the best looking shinies I have ever seen in Pokemon. And his personality in the games, as well as Miraidon, because obviously Miraidon is his counterpart. Miraidon I don't like as much, but I think it does look better writing it. I think its wheel... Actually, I don't know. I think I like riding Koraidon better too. But, yeah, we can show off Miraidon's ride form because I don't have Scarlet version here, but we do have Violet version. So we got Miraidon's ride form. But yeah, the personality of these two Pokemon is obviously amazing in the games. If you haven't played the main story of these games, I recommend it. Because the personality of the two legendary Pokemon that you get literally at the start of the game, which is your ride Pokemon, which I remember a YouTuber that I watch predicted that you would ride the legendaries of this game. And then it happened, and I was like, whoa, they actually did that. That's pretty cool. But I like these Pokemon. I think they're pretty cool. They're cool legendaries, but obviously Koraidon is so much better. So much better. It's my favorite legendary Pokemon now. Fighting a dragon is a pretty cool typing. Pretty cool Pokemon. Walking Wake, the only one of the few added Paradox forms in the DLC. We're now getting into the DLC Pokemon. And Walking Wake, I remember whenever these things were like slowly coming out, I wanted them to combine into like the form that we see in the book. And they never did, which kind of sucked. It seemed like that's what they might have done, because obviously this looks like nothing like it does in the book. Same with Iron Leaves. And I thought, well, maybe they're going to have Walking Wake and Roaring Thunder, or whatever the heck the other two are called. Gouging Fire and... I almost said Roaring Moon, but that's a completely different Pokemon. That's a different guy right there. I thought these things were all going to combine into, like, one Pokemon that looked like the Pokemon in the book, but no. So this thing doesn't work for me. Iron Leaves also just really doesn't work for me. Hello? You okay, Cam? You gonna stop freaking out for me for a second? All I want to do is show off Iron Leaves. No, this thing doesn't work for me. They're just like, oh, what if we turned, Virizion into a robot? Diplin! I was not expecting to like this Pokemon as much as I do, but I love Diplin. The two new evolutions that they showed off for Generation 8 Pokemon... Like, the two new evolutions that they showed off for the Generation 8 Pokemon, I was not expecting to like them at all. Then they showed them off, and I liked them. I loved them so much. Diplin's pretty cool. I love its shiny, and I love its special move that, like, changes color when it's shiny. That's pretty cool. Poltergeist. It's weird how this Pokemon, like, evolves backwards. That kind of weirds me out a little bit. Poltergeist is okay. Sinestia is not okay. Don't really care about it. I never really cared about Poltergeist in Sinisea, so these things I don't really care about. I mean, I did use this Pokemon, but that's all I gotta say about it. Okie dokie, I love him. He's adorable. He's my favorite of the Loyal 3. He is adorable. He is my best friend. I want to hug him. Definitely like a top 10 Pokemon from this region. Monkey Dory, I don't like him. He kind of looks weird. He looks stretched out, and I don't really like him. Looks like he just kind of like stretched him out a little bit. And there you go, that's Monkey Dory. Fezandipity is kind of just like in the middle for me. I think it looks kind of cool. I like how they all have the poison typing. Poison is a very underutilized typing, so giving them the poison typing, making them pretty strong Pokemon, really does work well for them. Pheasantipity's kind of in the middle. It kind of reminds me of, like, Chen, I think is his name, from Kung Fu Panda 2, the villain from Kung Fu Panda 2, kind of is what he reminds me of. But yeah, he's pretty cool. No, go back. Go into the summary screen. Ogerpon! Why does this thing not have its mask? Ogerpon is adorable. I remember not really caring about this Pokemon, and then we saw it in the game, and it was adorable, and I love Ogerpon. It's so cute. This thing's caught in a friend ball because it is friend-shaped. Adorable. Archaludon, like I said, I was not expecting to like this Pokemon at all, and then I fell in love with it. It's a strong Pokemon. The fact that they gave Duraludon evolution, though, is kind of strange, because it was already a pretty strong Pokemon. And I don't like Duraludon that much, but Archaludon, this thing's awesome. I love it. Hydrapple, I love Hydrapple too. And I love its special form where, like, it shoots out, like, the other heads. I'm not going to take the time to show that off because it's like a rare animation for one specific move. I'm not going to take the time to show that off. But this thing's pretty cool. I did not expect these two Pokemon to be Pokemon that I would love from this generation, but using them, I loved them. Gouging Fire. I remember first seeing this thing, and this thing looks pretty cool. The Entei, I think they did better with the Entei and the Raikou for these forms, and no exception, this thing's awesome. I like it. Pretty freaking cool. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that cool face. Raging Bolt is my favorite of the trio. I love this thing. I used this thing in my main playthrough of the game when I had the DLC, and I love it. It's just, its head is literally in the clouds the entire time. I just love this thing. I don't know what I love about it so much. But I love how every generation of Pokemon now, they've had this thing where they just elongate a piece of a Pokemon and just call it at that. This is no exception. Look at his long neck. Iron Boulder. It's just like how Iron Leaves is, and then how Iron Crown is. They're just like, what if we turn to these Pokemon into robots? And I don't... They're kind of just mid for me, in my opinion. I don't care about them. I really don't. That's all I gotta say about these two. They exist. They exist to fill up a Pokedex number. Terrapagos, the only Pokemon with the Stella typing, with the Stellar Terra typing. So Terrapagos is like the main Pokemon in the anime, the Horizons anime, and it's adorable. Its little voice in the Horizons anime is adorable. This thing's adorable. I love it. Terrapagos is adorable, and then its other two forms that it has, adorable too. But this thing's so cute. I was not expecting also to like the legendaries, like the main DLC legendaries for this. But I fell in love with a lot of the Paldea Pokemon, especially Terrapagos. He's adorable. What? What? What the fuck do you just... Why do you not look like your picture on the left? The newest Pokemon, number 1025, Pecharunt. I will say, it's an okay Pokemon, in my opinion. It's the newest Pokemon to exist, releasing back in January of this year or last year? I think it was last year. No, it was this year, because I remember making a video on it. It was January of this year is where this thing officially came out. It's the mythical of this generation. And yeah, I love so much that they gave a little story behind encountering it in the game. So I'll always love that. I'll always give it props for doing that. Other than that, it's kind of okay. I don't really like this version. I don't know why the summary screen has this form of it and not like what it looks like in the battle and like on the left, but whatever. And now the Paldean forms. Wooper! I remember when this thing was first revealed, and I liked it. He's adorable. He's like a brown little Wooper, and he's got like little bones sticking out of his head. He's adorable, and then he evolves into Clodsire, and I like him. Look at that smile. Look at that. Look at that dopey little smile. Tauros, on the other hand, has 3 different forms, and all of them are kind of just mid. This is just a black Tauros. This is just a black Tauros with a twisted tail and a haircut. And this is just a black Tauros with 3 tails. Yay. And then we have my all-time favorite Pokemon of this generation, and the last Pokemon we're going to be talking about today, Ursaluna. The Blood Moon form specifically. This is my favorite Pokemon to come out of Paldea. I love him. I remember whenever it was first leaked and I saw this thing, I fell in love with it. This thing's cool. It's based off of a Blood Moon. Ursaluna was always adorable in the Hisui games, and now they give it a cool little, like, terrifying version. I remember when I did my video on the DLC, this thing just laid on top of me and crushed me, and it killed me. Rest in peace, Fetch. But yeah, this thing's cool. I love him. He's my favorite Pokemon of the generation, and the best Pokemon to come out of Paldea. And that's it. That's all the Pokemon from the Paldea region. And that is the end of my Scarlet and my Violet series. Because I always intended... Gotta end the last episode with a shiny. I always intended going over the entire Pokedex to be the finale of this series. And so yeah, we're done with Violet. We're not gonna be doing this series anymore. If I ever do Violet on this channel again, it'll be just for like shiny hunting or showing off shinies or shinies. But that's really it. Finally, the series is over. After a year of like being on hiatus, it's over. And I caught a shiny in the final episode. Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching my opinion on every Paldea Pokemon. Thank you so much for watching this series and for waiting for this episode to come out, and I'll see you guys next time.